Hello and welcome back to Always Right, the podcast with me, your host, Charlie Wright. Today I'm here with a very special guest, my grandmother. Say hello.
Hello.
This is the first podcast you've ever done?
Yes.
Are you nervous?
Yes.
Why?
I'm worried about what you're going to ask me.
No, nothing bad. You just have to talk. You just have to pretend like it's a radio show.
All right.
That's what I do. Anyway, the first question I was going to ask you is about your name. Your name is Sondra.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, when you were young, was it like a common name that people had?
No, it wasn't. No. Mum actually picked that name. It was after the war, and she saw a movie, and there was a resistance worker in it, and her name was Sondra.
Really?
Yeah, because I was the last of 9 born, so she just thought that was a good name. But all my life I've suffered with that Sondra because it's been Sandra, Sandy, Sondra.
I was going to say, I bet a lot of people think it's Sandra.
Yeah, they do. A lot of letters come with Sandra.
Oh, that's just so annoying.
You've got to say, no, it's Sondra. Yes, it is unusual, yes.
Because, do you know anyone else with that name?
No, I never actually met anybody with that name.
Wow.
But now crazy. My niece is called Sondra.
After you?
After me.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, the main part of this interview, I guess, I just wanted to know what you think about technology and how technology has changed since you were young. Like, I want to know, like, when you, like, phones, like, when did you first get a landline phone when you were young?
Never had one when we were young. And I didn't know anybody that did have a phone. It was always you had to walk to the phone box.
And pay.
So everybody did the same thing. So there was phone boxes all over Melbourne. So I used to have to walk, put your money in, ring up. Yeah, that's how we...
Right. But so when did you first get a phone?
First got a phone when I was married.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. But like, were they common at that point?
Yeah, started to become common. Yeah. A lot of people started to have them. But before that, if you had a bit of money, there seemed to be people that had a lot of money sort of, oh, they've got a telephone. Oh. Like Dick's family finished up with a phone.
Yeah,
JJ1672 his number was. I can still remember.
Wow, good memory. What about like a TV?
No, television didn't come in until 1956 when the Olympic Games were on.
Yeah, right. That's right.
I was 10 years old.
But so when did you first actually like get a TV? When you got married?
No, we had a TV before I was married because I was only 10, and we had an old black and white television. But us kids used to walk up to High Street Preston and sit with chairs outside of some of the stores that had a telly in the window.
Oh wow, that's like from movies.
That's true. People used to bring their chairs up and all sit outside.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Television, so no.
But so when did you first actually have one in your house?
Well, when the Olympic Games was when I was 10, so probably around 12-ish, 12 years of age, probably had our first black and white telly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But what do you think about technology? Like, do you think some of the things we have now are like beyond your comprehension?
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting. Like computers?
Yeah, computers.
But you know how to use a computer?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You have a laptop, but you just don't use it.
Oh, yeah, I have a laptop. Yeah. Pop was used in the computer.
Yeah.
But I wasn't.
Yeah, but it's just interesting to think about how computers now are like everyone has a computer. and you need a computer to do everything, to work, to study, to do everything. And like, it just, I don't know. I can't imagine a world where like I don't need a computer.
Yeah, well, we did. We didn't have them. That's
because you had typewriters.
I had typewriters. Yeah, everybody had a typewriter.
Right.
But
that's obviously not a computer.
No, it's not a computer. No,
And
technology is amazing now compared to what we.
Yeah, and like mobile phones. Like when like the landline phone became a thing, did you ever think that they would be portable? Like
No, never thought that. No, never. And that's amazing. Yeah.
I guess no one thought that they would be
No.
mobile like this.
My mum and dad wouldn't have ever seen a mobile or anything. No.
Yeah.
So because they didn't even have a phone, so never had a phone in that house in Penola Street.
Mm.
And I left there when I was 18. So
yeah, it's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And speaking of phones, I was going to say the other day when I was asking you about like if you wanted to meet up with a friend, and now like if I speak to my friends, obviously I do it on Facebook or whatever, and I say, you know, let's go here, blah, blah, blah. I can't even imagine like without phones or technology, you just say like, let's meet here. And then you meet them?
Yeah, but when we were young, your friends were sort of lived around you.
Mm.
You know, like my best friend was in the next street.
Right.
So if I wanted to speak to her, I used to have to go around to her place.
Right.
But you were never allowed in the house in those days.
Really?
Her name was Judy, and you had to get out the front, stand at the front gate and call, Judy, Judy. And
why?
Because no one used to go in the houses. You used to stand at the front gate and call their names.
That is so funny.
Until they came out. It was just what they did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you like afraid of other people's parents?
Yeah, I think so. I think people were in those days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so funny to think about. But so like you never like made plans with friends? You must have, surely.
No, because things were different then. We never did, because we had meeting places. Like there was the dance, you know,
Right.
the Preston Town Hall and the Arcadia and
right. So it's just
things.
like
So you just used to see them there and then say, you know, next Saturday, and the pictures were a big thing.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, you always went to the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So you would say, well, I'll see you up at the Regent.
Right.
You know.
So you just had like specific places that you knew
that
people
other
would be
people
there.
would be, and like the Preston bars, and because when we were kids we lived at the Preston bars, and we used to have to walk up there, no shoes on in the stinking heat, jumping in the shadows. No shoes. We never wore shoes.
God.
And jump in the shadows all the way until you got up, because sometimes we were getting really hot temperatures in those days too. And be at the bars all day. That's what, and it was threepence to get in.
Threepence?
Yeah, a threepence.
How much is that, do you reckon, today?
God.
Is that like a penny?
Well, something.
3 pennies?
Yeah, like 3 pennies.
Right.
But the little threepence, you know, a little threepenny piece.
No.
And you used to get a penny's worth of peanuts and put your hand under, which were beautiful. They used to have a little peanut stand.
Wow, interesting.
And you had to wash your feet before you went in the pool. They had a bath thing that you had to go through before you got in the pool. Yeah.
Wow. But did you just not have shoes because you couldn't afford shoes? No, you must have had shoes, surely.
I had shoes, yeah.
But no one wore them?
No one wore them when we went to the bars or anything. No, it just wasn't a thing that you used to do.
That's so crazy to think about. Because
we were a pretty poor family, I always had hand-me-downs anyway.
Yeah.
Because I was the youngest of 9 kids.
Yeah, right.
So you can imagine, with 6 girls older than me.
God.
So everything I had were just their hand-me-downs.
Right.
And I can remember going to state school with a pair of shoes tied to my feet because they were too big. Mum tied a lace across the top of them. It's hard to believe now, but that's true.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy to think about. And where did you go to primary school?
Hutton Street, Thornbury.
Oh, really?
So that's a fair walk.
Does it still exist?
Yeah, it's still there.
Oh.
It's in Hutton Street, Thornbury. So we used to have to walk from Penola Street.
In Preston
to Hutton Street.
How long was it?
Well, to walk it now, it's probably well over half an hour's walk.
God.
Used to have to walk right up St George's Road, cut through where the tram used to go over the hump, Preston,
Right.
and then walk round and up to Hutton Street. So it was a fair walk, and we were late every morning for school anyway.
Right. What about high school? Where did you go to high school?
Preston Tech.
Does that still exist?
Yep.
Where is it?
It's in Kramer Street,
Where's
Preston.
that? Not like...
It's right next to the it's still there. The boys' tech was on one side and the girls on the other. The boys was a boys' school and the girls was the girls' school, and there was a line drawn right through the middle of the grass, and you weren't allowed to step over that line.
What?
So we used to sit right on the line.
Of course.
And so did the boys, all ogling each other. You weren't allowed to cross the line.
Wow, so you went to an all-girls school?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How was that? Did you like high school in general?
No.
No, I don't think
I hated school.
Yeah.
I left when I was 15.
Why did you not like it? Did you just feel like...
I don't know. I just never liked school, right from the word go. I hated it right from when I was at Hutton Street. Just hated school.
Because you're very smart. Do you think you didn't like academic stuff?
Didn't.
Right.
I knew what I wanted to do right from then. I just wanted to sing. That was all I ever wanted to do. So that's all I was looking for, an outlet to sing. That was what I wanted to do. So. Right.
But you had friends in high school?
Yeah, I had a lot of friends. Yeah.
What happened to them all? Do you know?
No, God, I wouldn't have a clue now. No, that's for 60-something years ago. I don't know.
It's crazy to think about that too. Like now, because I obviously have finished high school, like everyone's on Facebook. Like I know what all everyone is doing.
No, we wouldn't have a clue on what people did. No.
It's so crazy to think about. Do you ever think about that? Think about people from high school?
No, never.
Why?
Really? I don't know, because I just didn't like school.
I guess you weren't at high school for very long, so like...
No.
Because you left when you were 15.
Yeah.
And then where did you go after you left?
Straight into working.
What was the first place that you worked?
The first place I worked was Presslight in Bell Street.
What is that?
I used to make...
Oh, is that the boxes?
No, the windscreen. They used to make windscreen wipers and things for cars.
Oh.
And I was on an assembly line.
Oh.
Working piecework. The more you packed, the more money you got.
Right.
It was a big concern, yeah, so.
How was that as a job?
I don't know. You never worried much about it. It was just earning money. That's all you thought about.
You just did it. You didn't think about whether you actually...
Well, I used to catch the bus from Penola Street up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it's just weird to think about, like, now, like, I feel like people really think about jobs and things like that, where I guess, like, in those days, you would just do it. You don't think about it. You're not like, do I like this job? Do I not like this job? You just have to do it.
Well, and jobs were so easy to get. You could walk in and out of jobs all the time, which I had many before. Just used to, stay there for a year or something and then just move on to something else. You could just go into and out of jobs,
Yeah.
Because there was that many jobs to get in those days.
So where did you go after that place?
I worked in West Heidelberg.
Oh, doing what?
That was in the box factory.
Oh,
boxes.
yes. Yeah, right.
And I worked at a place called Newbiggins in Preston. And we used to make jewel cases. Yeah, a lot of different things. I can't exactly remember, but there was a lot. Yeah, so
a lot of like factory.
It was all factories. Yeah, and I worked in footrest, shoes, just doing the heels of high heels, because in those days they were all high heels, because everyone wore stilettos and everything.
Yeah.
I used to have to do the heels and run them through a little thing to shave them down.
Wow.
So boring, but anyway.
But like, was there one job that you had that you really enjoyed? Or they all kind of...
No.
You never liked any of them?
Not really, no.
What about the book? The book binding place? Didn't you work there for a long time? La Trobe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But that was years later. Yeah.
Right. But so, where was the place you worked at the longest?
I don't know. Probably Preston.
Mm.
Because I started there when I was 15. And I was probably there about a year and a half, 16 and a half. Then I went to the one in West Heidelberg, and that's from where I was married. I was working there when we were married.
Oh, yeah.
So I just can't remember now, but
yeah.
So that's
a long time ago.
A long time ago. Yeah.
But so when you were working, like you wanted to be a singer while you were still working.
Yeah.
You still had hopes to do that.
Yeah, I was singing around the traps, just at different little places, little halls, and with different sort of bands. It was all rock and roll in those days, so it was good. So, and I went on television a couple of times.
What? When?
A couple of shows that I went on. I went to Channel 9 and did a show when they were looking for stars and things. I remember that.
Oh.
I was only young then.
What year was this?
Oh, God, I don't know. I'm not sure. But I know it was
like the 60s or 50s?
It'd be the 50s, I'd say.
Wow. Because I was going to say I should like try and look for that, but there's probably no
record. It was like a talent show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow, how crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But you are a very good singer.
Yeah, well, we were pretty musical.
Everyone in your family?
Well, everybody thought they were, but Dad played mouth organ and banjo. Mum played piano. She was terrific on the piano, but never had a lesson in her life, but could play anything.
Wow.
So, and my older sister, Thelma, she was a really good singer too. But I was the one that sort of sang most, really.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, and then I was going to ask, you were talking about going to the movies before.
Yeah.
So, like, what was that like when you were younger? Like, was it like cheap-ish?
Yeah, it was cheap, so you could go to the movies. Yeah.
Was it something that like you did on the weekends? Like it was kind of the same as now.
Yeah, just once a week you go to the movies, have a Saturday or something, you know, something to break it up. Yeah.
But like, do you remember any movies that you saw that you liked?
Oh, God, in those days, I can't remember, no. I don't even remember anything that I really liked. It's too long ago to remember that. But
they weren't like Australian movies.
No.
American.
No, it was American because we weren't making films or anything then.
Yeah.
Really. No. Yeah, so.
But what other, like, activities did you do, like, with friends? Like, go to the movies, you go to dances, you said?
Go to dances and go to the bars. That's about all that we ever did. There was nothing else, really. There's nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do.
No.
Yeah, right. But like, what type of dance? Like swing?
Mostly rock and roll. Mostly rock and roll. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then
it was Bill Haley and the Comets, and it was Elvis, and it was just all that sort of real good stuff. Yeah.
Right. That's interesting. Do you miss like those days?
No, I don't miss them. No, because I didn't have a good life, really. I had a shocking life.
Yes.
Really. But anyway.
But I mean, like when, like.
It was fun.
That's what I mean.
Meet up with your friends. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then I was going to ask about cars. So, like, did your family have a car when you were a kid?
Yeah, Dad had an old truck with a big tray on the back.
Mm.
And he used to take us up to Darrell with Gum, so I can remember that. But you didn't have to. We were all just sitting on the open back tray.
Wow.
And there's no seatbelts. You just all climbed on the back, and he used to take a few of the other kids from Penola Street and just all climb up and up to Darrell with Gums. We'd go and we'd all just play up there on the river and all that sort of stuff. No seatbelts or nothing like that, of course.
Crazy to think
about. Yeah, it is.
But so when did you get like your first car?
Me personally?
Yeah, it's just you.
When I was 20, because Pop bought me a car.
Mm.
Yeah, he bought me an old Vauxhall, I think. Yes, and he painted it and everything for me. And I thought I was the Ann's pants. And that's what I was driving. I used to drive to when I was working in West Heidelberg. I used to drive it over there.
What colour was it?
He had a Holden. Pop had a British racing green Holden. Oh. And my car was also green. Yeah, just an old Vauxhall. It was good.
Interesting. And then I was going to talk about traveling. So, like, before you went overseas the first time, had you, like, travelled within Australia?
No, never.
So you travelled overseas first?
Yeah, I think we did. Never travelled until I was married or anything. And then travelled a fair bit.
Yeah. So where was the first place you went overseas? Was with Pop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first trip we had, I think we went to a few islands.
Oh.
Like Fiji, Vanuatu. I think we went to Vanuatu about 3 times, which I love that place. It's beautiful. And then we started to have, travel overseas.
Do you have a specific place that you went that you loved?
Africa.
Where in Africa, though? Because you went to a few different.
Nairobi.
Yeah.
Mumbasa. We went on safari, which was fantastic because I'd never seen anything like that before. The first animal we saw was a huge giraffe.
Wow.
And you could elect to go on safari in a truck with a lot of other people, but we actually hired our own guide. There was only the 4 of us went.
Yeah.
So he took us places that a lot of people didn't go.
No.
Down to see the hippopotamus and everything, and he got out with a big gun.
Wow.
And we saw some cheetahs have a kill, and he noticed the birds, and he took off across the grass plain, We got over there and all these cheetahs were ripping into this animal. Because he could tell by the birds in the sky that there was a kill. He was really clever. It was really good.
Wow.
So all those animals, we saw everything. It was terrific. I loved Africa and I loved Egypt too because of the pyramids. I used to dream about seeing the pyramids.
Did it live up to your expectation?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, when we arrived, we stayed at the Manor House.
Is that the one that's near the pyramids?
Yeah, right near the pyramids. And we hopped out the car and my sister said, "Is that the pyramids?" So we could actually see it from the car and we both started to cry. It was unbelievable because we'd never seen anything like it before. So it was beautiful. And we did the down the Nile trip, which is beautiful on the boat. I love that. It's like stepping back in time.
Yeah.
You could actually see people on camels riding in the desert.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you see like crocodiles?
Yeah, we saw everything. And people all along the Nile, just like it's been like for thousands of years, just washing and bathing and in the water and just everything.
Like what year was this? Did you go? In the 80s?
It must have been in the 80s, I'd say. Yeah, it's a long time ago. Yeah. and Turkey, and I love Turkey too.
Yeah, that's right.
We travelled by car right down through Turkey.
Mm.
It was a bit scary, but it was good. Yeah, it was really interesting.
And where did you go? I remember you said you were with Jenny or something. You went into a bar and it was all men.
Yeah.
Was that in Turkey? Tell that story.
Where was the place now?
I don't know. It wasn't Turkey.
It wasn't Turkey.
Did you go to Bahrain or something?
Yeah, we did. And somebody said, "Oh, they've got a cocktail party on downstairs tonight." So Jenny and I thought we'd go because Mel and Dick wanted to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went down there, we were the only two women in there, and everybody just looked at us like, "What are you doing in here?" Yeah, it was really strange.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But so obviously the person who said there's a party didn't know.
No, I had no idea.
Right.
Yes.
Wow. But have you had any like traveling moments where you were like scared? Like really scared?
I think when we went to Mumbasa, that's up on the east coast of Africa. It's a pretty scary place, and they recommended that we really didn't go, but we didn't have a worry in the world, and we just said we're going.
Of course you didn't.
So, and it was like really frightening. Yeah, it was.
Scary how? Like the people?
Just the people were bad looking, sort of, and you really had to watch your step and everything. And we actually stayed in a hotel right on the water, which was really nice. And I'll always remember this, the guards at one end of the hotel and the guard at the other end, they had bows and arrows. And we just couldn't believe it. And
but did you ask?
I asked why, and they said to stop so they don't make a noise for the guests. We shoot them with the bow and arrow. So there's
like people trying to get into
if someone was trying to get in, they'd shoot them with the bow and arrow because they didn't want to upset the guests. So they didn't make much noise, like they didn't have a gun or anything. So
that's so crazy.
I know. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's still like that. I think it would be different. Yeah, you would never travel again, would you?
Not now. No.
Why is that? The flight?
The flight.
When was the last time you had like a long flight? A long time ago.
A long time ago. I just don't like flying. I hate it.
Like Bali? Is that probably the last time?
That's probably the last time. Yeah, would be Bali. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think as you get older, I think it gets harder and harder to deal with a flight like that.
Yeah, it is.
Like for me, all the flights I've taken and whatever, you just get used to it. But it's like when you have a really long break and you don't take a long flight, it kills your body.
I think so. And I can't sleep either. I never sleep. Some people sleep, which is good, but I've never slept on a plane. I just cannot.
Me neither.
And Pop used to go to sleep straight away. He wouldn't care about anything. He could sleep through it, but I couldn't. And one bit of turbulence, and I think, oh my God, here we go, we're going to die. I just always think that.
My God. And you used to be able to smoke on planes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like...
When I think about it now, it's just hard to believe. The plane would just be full of smoke. And then we thought it was really bad because they were really good in a way. You could only smoke, you'd have to book smoking. So you'd go down the end of the plane, you could all smoke, and you all had ashtrays and everything, and you'd sit up there.
But like, what about babies on the flight?
Well, it didn't make any difference. It's just hard to believe that, isn't it, really? But that's what happened.
So bizarre. When did they stop that?
Oh.
In the 90s, probably?
It would have been, yeah.
It's so weird to think even like, it wasn't that long ago, really, that they stopped doing that.
I know. It is.
But like, I feel like you used to be able to smoke everywhere.
Oh, you can smoke everywhere. Yeah, everybody used to smoke everywhere.
Like inside.
Oh, of course, anywhere.
I'm trying to think like where, like inside bars.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, everywhere. There was just everywhere.
It's so crazy to think about how many
It's crazy now when you think about it. Yeah.
how many different things have changed. Are there things that you like see now or you think about now that you're just like, wow, it's so different to how it used to be?
Oh, look,
A lot of stuff.
lots of stuff. Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
nothing like it was when we were kids. Nothing.
Mm.
You know, like I said to you, there's no phones and the TV only come in then, and like that was a huge thing when the television came because it just so coincided with the Olympic Games, which was terrific.
Yeah.
You know, like, and like when we were growing up in that house, oh, you're going to ask me that anyway, where I grew up.
Yes. Where did you grow up?
In Preston, of course,
Yes.
in Penola Street.
Yes, you said yes.
Number 9 Penola Street. I was born in that house, yes.
Really? Like actually in the house?
Yeah, in the house.
Oh.
And my sisters were all peeping around the corner watching the midwife as I was born, because I was the youngest.
Yeah.
Where?
Like in the bathroom? In the bathtub?
No, just in bed. In the bathtub.
That's where a lot of women give birth at home, in the bathtub.
No, I think she was. No, she was in bed because the girls told me that in the bedroom.
Oh, right.
And Mum was only 4'11", and she had.
Really?
Dad was nearly 6 foot, and didn't have one baby under 8.5 pounds. All of us were over, and there was only one baby born in the hospital, and that was only Jenny, because Mum had a few complications.
Right.
Breastfed us all, and we're all huge babies. Like I was 9 pounds something. My brother was 10.5 pounds.
Wow. And
she was so little, but she gave birth to everybody. So that's just what they did then too.
Yeah, well, I guess in those days, you just gave birth at home. I guess most women did that.
Yeah, most did. It's rare to go to the hospital unless you had really something serious wrong with you.
Yeah, right.
And just the midwife. It was always the midwife that used to just come and deliver the babies then.
But like, did she like go to hospital after she'd given birth or no? Never?
No, never. No.
Wow, it's so crazy to me.
Yeah, you just got on with your life and you just fed your babies, and it's really, when you think about it, it's strange, but that's what happened. Yeah.
Times change. Yeah, they change a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, so.
And what else about when you were growing up? You had a very difficult childhood. Yeah, I did. Very difficult. Don't have to get too much into detail.
No, just violent brothers, and I saw that movie once, Warriors, and it just reminded me. And my sister saw it as well, and we said, well, what does that remind her of? And she said, just like when we were growing up, because it was just violent. Violent brothers. 2 of them were violent. The other one wasn't. He was as mild as anything. They used to give him buggery too. Poor bugger. They used to pinch all his clothes, and he couldn't stand up to him because he was only small in stature, and the other 2 were like really big. Yeah. They used to stand over him, and they were just terrible.
Well, so how many siblings total did you have?
There was 9 of us.
Yeah.
9 kids.
Yeah.
I was the youngest of the 9. Yeah.
So you had
6 girls and 3 boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so how many of them are still alive?
5 girls. Still alive.
And all your
Lois,
brothers are?
Judy, Jenny, Colleen, and myself. Yeah. So.
Wait, but did all of your siblings have kids? No.
Yeah, they all had kids. I was the only one that had 2, actually.
Oh.
All the rest of them had 3, and Judy had 4 boys. Jenny had 3. Because I had the 2 cesareans, they said no more. That's all you're allowed to have in those days. You couldn't even have 3.
Yeah,
nowadays you can have up to 3, I think. Like Mum, of course. Yeah, so it changes. Yeah.
But so when you had Mum and Mum's brother, did you want to have them naturally
Yeah, of course.
But then you couldn't.
No, I couldn't. No.
Why? Was it just
complications? Everything's changed now, but they said my pelvic bones were very small, and because they were fairly big babies. Matt was 9'4" and 21 inches, and your mum was 8'7". So, yeah, so I just couldn't have natural birth, no.
But you wanted more kids, didn't you?
Yeah, I was always going to have 4. Pop and I always said we'd
Really?
have 4. Yeah.
Like 2 boys, 2 girls?
Yeah, it would have been nice, but I couldn't have any more, so that was it. But it's okay now, of course. But
And what about the names? Like, did you pick Mum's name before she was born?
Yeah, I did. We were building the house in Rosanna, and I used to stand up when it was half built and look out there was all boards on the windows and everything, and Pop would be dancing. I'd say, I've just thought of a name. Angela, come inside for your tea. I think that sounds good. That's how I picked that.
That's a good way to do it.
And Matthew's name I got off the Days of Our Lives.
Really?
I used to watch it religiously.
Oh my God.
And there was a little baby and called Matthew. And I thought, if I have a boy, that's what I'm going to call it. But they didn't have second names because Pop didn't have one. And he said, it's a lot of bullshit. Second names.
But you have a second name?
Yeah, Rosemary.
Yeah, but did you not? You just didn't want to give them second names?
I don't know. I just thought, he might be right. So I didn't bother. But your mum's always said, she calls herself Angela Ann half the time.
Yeah, I remember. Triple A.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, so.
Wow. It's when you think about like when you were younger as opposed to now, it's like, would you prefer to have like a simple life without technology and without all this stuff when you were growing up, or would you want to grow up now?
I think I like it better now.
Yeah, I think
there's just more communication.
Yeah,
just everything.
I mean, there's a lot more. There's still a lot of issues and problems, but I guess they're different problems than you used to have when you were younger.
Because in the house in Penola Street, we didn't have electricity on.
Really?
You had to we had a meter because we were renting that house, and the rent office was around the corner,
Yeah.
And so Pop would be asleep on the chair and the electricity would go out. We'd all be sitting in the dark, and you'd have to try and get into his pockets and that to find a single shilling. Like, they never thought to put it in a jar or anything. Was always searching around for single shillings. Right. And then everything's black.
Right.
And then you put it in the meter and turn the thing, and then the lights come back on. That's how it operated.
Wow.
And no hot water, of course.
Wow.
Used to have to light a little chip heater, and no showers in those days. We didn't have showers. A bath. Just a bath. So me being the youngest, I used to finish up hopping in with Mum in the end, and by this time the water's like...
Oh, yuck.
And used to have to light the little chip heater. So I used to have to go out and chop the wood and come in and light it. You get the fire going and open up the thing, and then the water would be boiling, go it'd be that hot, and so you'd have to fill it up with
God.
Oh, isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
So just the taps had cold water, and
if
you wanted water, you boiled it.
Wow. But so when you first had a shower, were you like, this is amazing, I don't have to have a bath in all this gross water?
Absolutely. Oh, I hated that, getting in the bath, because I was the youngest, and about 4 others would be in the bath first. Then you'd let a bit of water out and put a little bit more in. And I always finished up because I was the youngest in the bath with Mum. So you can imagine, I know this is a funny thing to say, but I can remember just looking at Mum with her big boobs floating on top of the water. God. I can still see it to this day. Oh, and then you'd get out and you'd have to get your knits done, because every kid in Preston had knits. Well, it was just...
I guess if you only have a bath and you don't bathe that often.
No, you don't.
Did you have a bath every day? No.
No. God, no. used to just have a wash. But
Yeah.
just nearly every kid in schools and everything had nits. It was always trying to get rid of them.
God, I can't.
And bed bugs. We had that many bed bugs.
Oh.
You couldn't sleep for the night. You'd be covered in bed bug bites. Because those
that's
old beds,
horrible.
those wire beds, and all the dust used to form in there and all that sort of, it's horrible.
Yuck.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine.
Oh,
So, like, when you met Pop, were you, like, excited to, like, get away from
absolutely
all of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We had to pay for our own wedding and all, because Mum and Dad didn't have any
Yeah.
money. In those days, you did.
Yeah.
Unless your parents were really wealthy.
Mm.
And try and keep it as simple as you can. But, you know, our wedding was quite good. And
Wait, what age did you get married?
I was engaged at 18 and married at 20.
Wow. And then you had Mum at 21?
3.
Oh, 23.
It's 20, maybe 22.
Yeah.
A couple of years after we were married, yeah. So that was good.
But did everyone used to get married that young?
Yeah, people used to get married young. That's what you did. I think sometimes it was a way of getting out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people didn't have like terrific lives like they got now. You know
very true. It's very different. I think when you have a very like different socioeconomic position, like marriage and things is different like that. Like, I guess, as you said, in your day, people saw it as a way to get out. And I guess they don't really think of it that way now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But luckily we were pretty fortunate because, you know, we lived with Mrs. Driscoll and...
Who?
Mrs. Driscoll over in Mortimer Street, Heidelberg, when we first got married.
Oh, you were talking about her the other day.
And she was lovely.
Wait, so you and Pop just lived with this woman?
Yeah, but in a little, like she had a one-bedroom little...
A granny
sort
flat.
Of, like a little granny flat, but in her house, sort of, or connected to her house.
Attached, right.
Yeah. So we stayed there for a couple of years while our house was being built and then moved from there straight into the house that was built. But in Rosanna then, when we built that house, there was nothing. It was so far away. I remember when
really
Pop bought the land because his dad took him over there. And I said, I'm not going to live out here.
Like, do you mean it was like far from Preston?
Yeah, but there was just nothing out there in Rosanna then.
Mm.
It's hardly a house out there. And picked this block of land. Anyway, look at it now. Well, that's amazing. We were one of the first houses that were built in Frank Crescent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then it's just started to go ahead now. And have a look at it now. Look, it's amazing.
It is weird to think about that at some point, like, all of Melbourne was nothing.
No, it's just...
strange to think about. And like Watsonia? Is Watsonia kind of newer?
Well, not really, because we had our engagement in Grace Street, just here in Watsonia.
Really?
Because that's where my sister lived.
Oh, so Watsonia's like old?
Yeah, it's pretty old, yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's when I was 18, and I'm 74 now, so it's a long time ago. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's where our engagement was at my sister's in Grace Street, yeah.
Wow, I don't know why I always thought Watsonia, Greensborough, kind of new-ish, but I guess that's not.
No, it's not really. There was houses in that street, I know. Not a lot, but there were houses built there, so, yeah.
Yeah, right. Is there anything that you would change about your life? Obviously, you would like Pop to be alive, but I mean, you know, apart from that. I mean, like, is there anything that you would change about the way you grew up or, like, the jobs you had?
Yes, of course, the way I grew up was shocking.
Yeah.
I hated it. I hated being in that house. Every night, there was violence every night. When you got violent brothers, and they bashed their wives and you could hear them and everybody had left, so I was home in that house on Penola Street on my own. And then my brother moved back in with his 3 kids and his wife.
Oh.
And then it would just become like torture. He'd put those kids into bed, like we'd put the kids into bed, and then he'd get drunk and he'd demand they come out and sing for him, and he'd get the kids up. It was crazy.
Horrible.
And they used to do that to me when I was young. They had a barrel every week down in Penola Street because they were connected to football clubs and stuff. And that's what they used to do, bring a barrel, and everyone used to come, a whole barrel of beer, and everyone used to come to the backyard. And I can remember I was about 4, and he used to stand me up on top of the barrel, and I can still remember the song I used to sing. You remember it?
Are you traumatised by it, or?
No, but I still remember the song as plain as anything. It was called My Baby Don't Phone No More. And he'd say, come on, Sondra. He always called me Sondra. And just get me on all the blokes. They'd all be laughing. And then I finished up crying because everyone started laughing. Because So, no, I would change that part, but not my married life. It's been fantastic, yeah. I wouldn't change a thing.
No.
Yeah, except for losing Pop, of course. But, yeah. But anyway, that's about it, love. Nothing else to say, really.
Do you have any advice for my listeners about their life that you would give?
Yeah, love. Be kind. And be gentle. And just try and do the right thing because it means a lot.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's good advice. Stick by your morals and what you believe in. Do you feel like you've always been like that?
Yeah, I have.
I'm a very moral person.
Yeah, I have been, really. Yeah, so.
Because do you feel like if you did something bad or it really weighs on you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't like that feeling.
No. I think that's good though because it stops you. It really makes you
think.
It makes you think. It makes you do the right thing more often than not, I guess.
And think before you act. Really.
Yeah.
Just think what the consequences are going to be instead of just rushing in and doing something, Yeah. I think that's a good advice too. And just try and stay healthy because I played lots of sports, which I loved. And I always did. When I was a kid, I used to play rounders and stuff like that.
Rounders, I remember that.
Oh, the old rounders. Yeah, that's what we used to play. But that was about all the sport we had at state school was rounders. I can't remember ever doing anything else. And you have the milk every morning at school. The crates of milk would come and every child got a little thing of milk. Yeah. But it'd been sitting out in the sun for so long and all the cream.
Oh, yuck.
It did. It used to be warm.
That's disgusting.
But you used to have it because milk was pretty expensive. So
you just take what you're given.
Yeah, just take what you're given. And cut lunch every day. You always had Vegemite sandwiches. Used to swap sandwiches with the
Oh, really?
They all used to swap their sandwiches and things. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? But that's true. Yeah, so I don't think I would change my life when I was younger, but...
But, it led you to where you are now.
That's what I think too. In some ways it makes you a better person, a stronger person. Oh, yeah,
for sure.
Because a lot of people haven't gone through what I've gone through. Yeah. Their life's so privileged. Yep. They never think about how bad you don't. You just think that's what a lot of kids expect now.
Well, that's how I feel like my life, I think, has been very privileged. And,
kids are so spoiled now.
They are.
But we just didn't have the money. They didn't have the money. So, because Dad worked in the rag bag trade too, he used to go out and collect rags on that big truck and bring them home in the yard. And we used to have to sort the clothes. And if he'd come over to Ivanhoe and we knew he'd got to pick up in Ivanhoe, we couldn't wait for the truck to come back. Really? Because we'd fight over a jumper, or my sister and I'd go through the clothes because we used to have to sort woolens and things like that. And she'd have one end and I'd have the other. I said, I saw it first, and you'd be pulling and to keep us occupied, because we always had chooks, and the only time you ever had a chicken was at Christmas. No one could afford to buy a chicken. Really? Wow. So everybody had chickens anyway. So Dad used to always cut the head off the chook, and we used to hate it.
Yeah.
and you'd get on the chopping block and you'd see it running around without its head, blood.
Oh my God.
Because we love those chooks.
Yeah.
Because Colleen and I didn't, because we were the two young ones left there. Because we didn't have anything, we used to dress our two chooks up.
Oh my God.
We used to put
That's so cute.
We used to put little booties on their feet. And sometimes
God.
a little bonnet, and they were so tame.
Oh my God.
And I'd say, well, you bring your child, Mrs. No, she was Thelma and I was Jane. We always played Thelma and Jane.
Right.
I'd say, come on, Thelma, you bring your child. What's its name?
Oh my, I wish I had a photo of that. That is so funny.
We used to play with the chooks and make up an old steel bed, and we'd have, like, she used to be because she was older, she always took over. She wanted to be the shopkeeper, and I had to be the one that bought stuff. And you'd wrap up grass and different things and put it on this wire bed.
Yeah.
And I'd say, hello, Thelma, can I just have a pound of butter, please? And she'd say, yes, Joan. She'd wrap it up and give it to me. Oh, it was ridiculous, really. But because you were always looking for something to play.
Yeah.
So.
Because I guess you didn't have toys.
Never got toys.
No.
They were far and few between.
Mm.
Although in later life, people started to get bikes and things.
Yeah.
Before I left home, and Christmas Day was so different then.
Mm.
Because this was all the streets were full of kids riding their bikes and scooters, and everybody was out, like it was a really big deal. But for us, we just had a stocking hung up. That was what we had.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't afford anything else. But so we were pretty poor, really. But anyway, we survived, and I'll tell you what,
you've done a good job.
Yeah, I think I have. Actually. Yeah.
You should be very proud of your life, I reckon.
Well, I am now, love. I'm proud of everything, but
good. You should be. You should be very happy.
It's hard to believe that
you've lived a life.
I know.
Such a long life.
And you're sort of getting to the end of your life, really. You know what I mean? No, but you are, really.
I mean, yeah.
You are. That's just part of life. But if you look back and you think, what happened? Where's all that time gone?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never used to. Like right through your 20s and 30s and 40s. Then you turn 60, you get a little bit, But now I look back and think, my God, where is that time gone?
Mm.
Yeah, it's amazing. Oh, and, talking about the holidays, Borneo was one of my favourite places too.
Oh, you went to Borneo?
Yeah.
Did you see orangutans?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I've got movies of them at home somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, they're in my old movies things there. You just sit there and they're so beautiful and they just come down.
Oh my God.
You don't make any noise. You just sit there quietly and they just come down out the trees and sit right beside you they're like little human beings. They were absolutely gorgeous. I just loved them. That was a fascinating place, Borneo. I loved it.
I would love to do that.
So different.
Yeah. Beautiful. My God.
Yeah, we went with Robert and Maureen, of course.
Mm.
And Robert was working for the laundry at that time because he was the big boss there. So one of the reasons he went there is because he had to go and check the hospital in Borneo about their linen, the way they do linen and everything.
Oh.
So we'd only been there one day and he come and got out to deck. He said he got a call. He had to go to this place. Oh, I knew the name of it. I can't think of the name of it now.
Mm.
Anyway, I had to fly up there and to check the hospital out. And Pop said he'd never seen anything like it. The condition of the hospital, he said it was just disgraceful.
Really?
Yeah, he said there was blood everywhere and just the way that they operated,
When was this? In the 80s?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I'll tell you how long ago. It was when I was 50.
Oh.
I can remember.
So that's
40 years ago. Oh, 50, 67. No, 20.
20 years.
Yeah.
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 No, so that's like the 90s.
Yeah.
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 Because we did the rapids.
Oh, like whitewater rafting.
Yeah.
Really?
But we thought we were going to die on the train getting up to the top. The train was just, it was like a nightmare. I was
Really?
that scared. And then when we got out of the boat, of course, at the train, there was a couple of guides there, and you could see the boat sort of sitting in the water. And I was the first one out of the boat. You believe it? I went out and he dragged me back in, because he had a life jacket on.
Yeah.
And I had the biggest wedge I always remember. Oh my God, it was killing me. And he's trying to pull me in the boat. But anyway, he was really experienced. But that was one of those things we did that I would never do again. I'm glad I did it in a way.
Yeah.
I used to think it looked like fun, but I've never been so petrified in my whole life. You just round a bit of a bend in the river and you'd see the next rapid come up and you think, oh my. Maureen was crying the whole time.
Really?
And she went out the boat.
Oh my God. Wait, when you fall out of the boat, is that like the scariest part?
Oh, it is, because you're getting to a tumble.
Yeah.
It was really scary, but Dad and Robert were okay, because they sat it right in the front and they had this little woman in the middle of them and she hung onto their life jacket like that all the way.
Oh, and you had no
They
one.
never fell out at all. But we did. Maureen went out a couple of times and she absolutely hated it. So when we got down to the actual bottom of the rapids, which is one of the most remote rapids you've ever seen in your life. Wow. They were called like Death this.
Oh God.
Survivor.
Oh my
this.
God.
And, some of the names. We got out. We all cheered when we got off the boat because we were just that happy to be back.
Yeah.
On the land. Never again. I'd never do it again. But it's one of those things you do and you think.
Yeah, you're glad you did it.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did it. But so.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah,
but
it is.
I think we're done with this episode.
Okay, love.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was good, actually.
I'm glad. You should come back on anytime you want.
Yeah, well, I hope that was all right. I'm just trying to tell you what I remember, which some of it's bad, but most of it's pretty good.
No, you remembered a lot, so,
Yeah, I did.
I hope when I'm your age, I can remember that much about my life.
I wish I had written more things down, really.
Well, you can do that now.
Yeah.
But you mean like in the moment?
In the moment, I just get the dates and things a bit mixed up.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, you sort of forget.
Well, that's why I do these podcasts, so, I can, I listen to my old ones from 3 years ago and I'm like, I don't remember that. And then it jogs my memory.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good.
But anyway, my listeners, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Charlie Wright. Charlie has 2 R's in it. And you can follow this show on Instagram at Always Right Podcast. But Nan, thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, bye.